Hi everybody, it's the Ruthless Jobber here. Welcome back to the channel. This is episode, I think it's 44. I forgot to look before I started recording. Episode 44, I think, of A Broken Heart. It's WCW in 1998, and it's time for Monday Night Nitro on Monday, the 14th of September. We kick off, as we do now, with some pre-show matches. Psychotic take on Christopher Daniels and Ricky Banderas, just a couple of jobbers. Let's get Psychotic on the card, try and get them some sort of momentum going. They get the win here in 11 minutes 53 when Psychosis forced Ricky Banderas to submit. Christopher Daniels was the weak link, and we had a wrestling rating of 48, crowd 30, and a segment rating of 54. Conan takes on Stevie Ray. Don't really use Conan much, and bearing in mind he's involved in a storyline at the moment, probably should be using him a lot more. And I know he's only on the pre-show here, but just kind of wanted to, give him a match. Make sure there's no sort of ring rust that sets in. I don't know if I've got plans for him. At the very beginning of this series, I really wanted to push him, but you know what? So many people ahead of him now. But he does get the win here in 9 minutes 45 by submission with a tequila sunrise. 53 wrestling, 51 crowd, and 59 overall. Bret Hart takes on Lance Storm in a pre-show match. This was just to put sort of Bret Hart in a match in the pre-show. I just thought, why not? And I've said this before. If this was real life and Bret's not wrestling on the main card, give the people who have actually paid money and travelled and turned up to your arena, give them something that's not going to be on TV. Give them something that is just for them, kind of like a reward, I guess. Bret Hart, wow, against Lance Storm. And I'll tell you what, also, the reason I do things like this is you find out who might have good chemistry or who might put on a good match together. If we can get Lance Storm over before Bret Hart's too old, we could get a bleeding good match out of these two. A pre-show bout that had great wrestling and good heat. Bret Hart defeated Lance Storm in 14 minutes 37 by submission with a sharpshooter. Yeah, 72 wrestling, 56 crowd, which you kind of expect. Lance Storm is unimportant. 71 overall, though. Absolutely fantastic. Let's get into the main show. Oh dear. Lance Storm sustained a blown eardrum. That can't have been Bret's fault. So the main show then, Bret Hart cuts a promo on Hogan. He wants another shot at the cheating Hogan. He wants another shot at the belt. And this is obviously, as you can see with the picture, Gene Oakland interview. Hogan comes out and he says, you know the rules. I don't have to defend the belt against this again this month. Certainly not against you again. But I'll tell you what I will do. Let's make for Fall Brawl a tag team match. You, me, and our partners. Go find yourself someone. So we're going to have a tag team match at Fall Brawl. Bret Hart and partner against Hollywood Hogan and partner. 82 overall. Yeah, pleased with that. Storyline gained heat. Chris Park takes on Raven. Obviously, we're giving the win to Raven here, but I am seriously thinking about sort of pushing Chris Park a little bit eventually. I want to get into a level where we can sort of comfortably have him transition into Abyss. But this had a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. Raven got the win in 8 minutes 34 by pinfall while using the ropes for leverage. 44 wrestling, 35 crowd, 54 overall. Wasn't really expecting much more than that, but we do have a post-show segment. Raven beats down Chris Park, just kind of continuing to beat him, and then Booker T comes out and makes the save. And once he's done that and Raven's kind of laid out, Chris Parker's sort of run off, whatever, he's gone to the back, and Booker T picks up a microphone and he says, basically cuts a promo on Raven, but specifically, you will not try any of that when you face me at Fall Brawl for this US Championship. If you try any of that, it will be the last time you ever step into a ring. You will not treat me like that. You will not cheat, and you will not attempt to attack me after the match, whatever the result. So just kind of warning to Raven, and yeah, just a promo. Let's get Booker T and Raven's storyline getting a little bit more heat, and it did gain heat, which is exactly what we wanted. Gorilla Monsoon is backstage talking to Randy Savage, and Savage says this tag team match between Bret Hart and Hollywood Hogan at Fall Brawl, well, let me tell you something. They will not be choosing their partners. I am sick of seeing people like Hogan book his own matches. I thought that was all in the past, and I'm here. I'm determined to make it in the past. I will be choosing their partners for the match at Fall Brawl. Rating of 78. This is exactly why we wanted to bring Savage back as a personality. Let's get some decent angle ratings. Chris Benoit teams up with Dean Malenko to take on Royal T, and I am pleased with this one. So, we had a decent match. Royal T defeated Benoit and Malenko in 9 minutes 41 when Steven Regal submitted Dean Malenko with a Regal stretch. Now, they're all probably pretty good technical wrestlers. I'm not sure about Terry Taylor, but certainly Regal, Benoit and Malenko. So, maybe this has helped towards, although the wrestling rating was only 62, something else has obviously boosted it. But 62 wrestling rating, 51 for the crowd, and 71 overall. I am really pleased with that. And you know what I'm going to say? We just want to get Regal over. And look at what I've found here. Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko showed excellent chemistry teaming together. We've got a new tag team, guys. And I have said previously, as I'm doing with my Invasion series, I'm going to start using Chris Benoit properly. Let's just let it go. Let it go. Randy Savage books a triple threat match tonight. Basically, Chris Jericho and Randy Savage, or Savage calls out Jericho and he says, I want you to come out tonight. I'm going to give you an opportunity against your nemesis. I'm going to give you an opportunity against Diamond Dallas Page tonight. And Chris Jericho kind of rubs his hands. He thinks, oh yeah, you won't be expecting this match. I'll have the upper hand. I'll have the advantage. But then Savage says, but I'll tell you what, just for the purposes of entertaining the people who have come here tonight and the millions of people that are watching around the world, let's make it a little bit extra special and let's put in a legend. Let's add a legend to this match. It will be triple threat involving Sting. Yeah, so we've got a triple threat as tonight's main event. Just trying to mix things up a little bit with our main event. 85 overall. This storyline has gained heat. I wouldn't expect anything less with 85 rating and loads of green there. Absolutely brilliant. Buff Bagwell takes on the Giant. A bit of a throwaway match, really, to give the Giant a match. We certainly don't use him as often as we should. I say this about quite a lot of our wrestlers. We have got quite a big roster for the number of stories I'm running. And, you know, I don't sort of show you the B shows or anything. I don't even do the B shows. I auto book them. But yeah, and maybe I could trim the roster down, but I think I'm quite happy with how it's working. We've got a few really good storylines going on at the moment, and we just kind of have a few people that are milling around, and eventually they'll be put back to the forefront again. So yeah, just keep them going, keep the momentum. Avoid any ring rust. But it's the Giant that gets the win. Of course it does. Of course he does. In 6 minutes 32 by pinfall with a choke slam. So we had great heat in that and decent wrestling. 55 wrestling, 66 crowd, 64 overall. Post-match, Bam Bam Bigelow comes down and he has eyeing up the Giant. And then Randy Savage comes out and he says, well, before you do anything, I know what you're here for. I know why you're here. You're going to wind up the Giant. Well, first of all, you're not going to do that in my presence. You are going to be Hogan's partner at Fall Brawl, and Bam Bam Bigelow's like, oh my god, wow, I'm teaming with Hogan. This is brilliant. This is a guaranteed victory at Fall Brawl. And then Savage says, and Bret Hart's tag team partner is going to be Goldberg. You can obviously already see that Goldberg's involved in the angle, so it's not such a surprise for you guys. Yeah, Goldberg is going to team with Bret, and they will be taking on Hogan and Bam Bam Bigelow. 78 rating. The storyline again has gained heat. We had an angle idea that was a success, which is obviously fantastic. Bam Bam Bigelow didn't do well without a script. Okay, well, 78 still though. Pleased with that. Loads of green again. The Dudley Boys take on Totally Perfect. Yeah, wanted to use our top tag team and just give the Dudleys something more to chew on, and obviously facing the top team. Certainly give them something to work with. So we had great heat and good wrestling. Totally Perfect defeated the Dudley Boys in 14 minutes 20. Kurt Hennig pinned Bubba Ray Dudley with a great solution following interference from Conan. Conan came in. Yes, of course he interfered. And we also had the Demon distract Devon. Devon Dudley's still injured actually, and he was slowed somewhat. So yeah, but I mean 66 I'm okay with. Maybe I would have liked a little bit better, with Hennig and Luger being involved. But okay, it's not awful. The storyline with the Pay Your Dues storyline with the interference has gained heat, so fantastic. We then cut to Gorilla Monsoon in his usual studio, screens behind him and all that, mixing desks. And he announces a couple of matches for Fall Brawl. The Dudleys will take on the Demon and Conan. And Sid Vicious will take on the Giant. No build up for that match, but wanted to give Sid a match, wanted to give the Giant a match. I think that would actually, on paper, that sounds pretty awesome. I'm not really expecting a world-class match from that, but you never know what we get. And just we've got to keep using our top guys. And as I say, the Giant, although he is sort of still involved in the Goldberg streak storyline, him and Bigelow are just kind of playing second fiddle to Goldberg's power, really. We'll try and mix things up a little bit with that storyline soon, though. But a 66 rating for this segment. Then we've got a taped angle, and it is Kurt Hennig and Lex Luger, totally perfect, chilling out on a yacht. I thought I'd do something a little bit different. It's a video, like a promo video. It's an outside broadcast, and it's just them two chilling out on a yacht. Maybe they got a couple of women with them serving drinks or whatever, or they're drinking. They're chilling out on their yacht, and they notice a camera or whatever. The camera's there, and they just cut a promo on Rob Van Dam. There was a storyline going on there. Unfortunately, here it lost heat, which is a shame. But losing heat and getting 76 rating just goes to show that the story is already, quite high. So yeah, not too disappointed. La Parka takes on Rey Mysterio Jr. I had a high spots match here, and we had a bout that had good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd. La Parka defeated Rey Mysterio Jr. in 10 minutes 4 seconds by pinfall with a skull bomb. Yeah, a high spots match, don't do them very often, but I thought, again, Rey Mysterio hasn't got a tag team partner at the moment, so, and unless we are going to go with the Stevie Ray and Ray, it wasn't something I wanted to do as a permanent fixture, but some of you seem to like it actually, so maybe we'll see. But a wrestling rating 65, crowd 52, but overall 75. Yeah, another one I'm pleased with that. A taped promo video featuring Sid Vicious, kind of just showing his menace and power and intimidation. Nothing more to say about this one, just had a couple of minutes spare to use. 67 rating. And the main event, Chris Jericho versus Diamond Dallas Page versus Sting. In a bout that had fantastic heat and great wrestling, Sting defeated Chris Jericho and Diamond Dallas Page in 15 minutes 41 when Sting forced Diamond Dallas Page to submit with a Scorpion Deathlock. The match was designed to tell a specific story. During the match, we also had Eddie Guerrero accidentally hit DDP. So that was actually the finish. Guerrero accidentally hit DDP. And Sting, without realising kind of what happened, because being a face, he probably wouldn't have just gone for the win, but he didn't realise it had happened at first. He gets Diamond Dallas Page in the Scorpion Deathlock, gets him to submit, and Diamond Dallas Page kind of explains what happened. Sting's like furious with himself, really. Oh my God, I didn't realise, I'm sorry. That's kind of what's happening here. We had a wrestling rating of 74, crowd 76, overall 76. It's not the best main event we've had, but certainly not awful. And both storylines here, LWO Sting and You Need Knocking Down, both gained heat. Post-match, Chris Jericho decides to beat down DDP, beat him while he's down, and Sting chases down Guerrero after the match. Yeah, nothing big on this one. Both storylines have lost heat, unfortunately. Sting came across well in this one. Overall rating of 67, but yeah, this was just to kind of, finish out the show. Kind of Jericho beating down Page and Sting chasing Guerrero to the back. What do we get overall? 78. Yeah, I'm very pleased with that. Increasing our popularity in 22 regions. Yeah, I'm very pleased with that. Let's go to the post-show little bits and bobs then. Injury review. Yeah, we did have Lance Storm 7 days. Oh, that's fine, and he can work through it anyway. Financial report. Yeah, just over 300,000 again. Popularity recap. Yeah, we need to try and somehow start getting show ratings in the 80s, because we're not going to gain in the US until we do. Let's have a look backstage then. Looks like we've got some emails. We usually do after Nitro. Bret Hart thinks Psychosis 2 has poor ring psychology. Could well be right. Goldberg thinks Chris Benoit doesn't connect with the fans. There's a couple of times we've had that note. Lance Storm's injury and viewing figures for Nitro. I think that's going to do it for this episode. I don't think there's much more I want to look at. So I will tell you to take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.